In this chapter, we're gonna cover organization. Now, this is an absolutely vital part to the successful execution of a crowdfunding campaign, but I'm sort of gonna explain to you what pre-production for crowdfunding is like. And while pre-production is really important, it's not always the most interesting thing to explain, so bear with me and know that these are utterly vital elements. Your organization is going to be broken up into 4 major pieces. And the first piece that I'm going to talk about first is the organization of your direct outreach. This is everybody you already know you can reach directly through email. Now, keep in mind, there are incredible tools out there like Green Inbox that allow you to turn your social media, your Facebook and your Twitter followers also into an email list. And you'll need to learn about those in advance. So you're gonna start by organizing all of your email addresses. And you're gonna divide them into 3 major categories. The first is everyone you are already sure is definitely gonna contribute. And you're gonna wanna reach out to them several weeks in advance, let them know that the crowdfunding campaign is coming, and find out what kind of commitment they're willing to make. That will give you a really good sense of what you know you can hit on day 1 of your campaign and start building that really fiery momentum. The second group of emails is everyone you think might contribute if only you put a little personal touch on that outreach. Now, for those of you who've really been building a community, that could be 2 or 3 or 500 emails. You have to know today you're never gonna write all those emails on one day, so that's part of the work that you have to schedule for yourself moving forward. And then the final group of emails is like everybody your Gmail inbox has been collecting. Use a mail client that would allow people to unsubscribe, send out a sort of initial test to get people aware that they've been added to this email list and to approve that addition, and then know that you can message those people and grow that list over time, message them throughout the campaign maybe 3 or 4 times, and what shakes out, shakes out. The second is the direct messaging capabilities you can establish through things like Facebook and Twitter, and what that outreach looks like. Now, I promise you, if you do not personalize that outreach, you're going to offend some people. If you copy and paste things and send it to them without any consideration for who you're really sending that to, something in there is gonna make that person think, well, is this just am I just basically getting spammed by my friend? The next piece you're gonna have to organize are any partnerships or organizations that you're getting involved with. They will need to know on what date to message their mailing lists with what materials, and you'll have to have all those materials and all of that messaging prepared. And finally, think about anywhere else you have direct access to people. Do you belong to mailing lists or Google groups? Do you belong to a church group or an alumni association? Anywhere where you have direct access to people, contact that administrator and ask them if it would be okay to send something out about your impending campaign. There's an additional piece to this. You also want to spend time gathering the materials you're going to use to send all these emails. Why is this important? Well, you want to make sure that everyone involved in messaging about your campaign is speaking with one voice. And the more prepared you are, the better and more effective these emails are going to be. You want to put together the image and the short, concise text that you're going to use to send these hundreds and hundreds of emails. You're also going to want to include pre-composed tweets and Facebook posts so that every single email you send can also turn every recipient into an evangelist.
So now that you've figured out all of the people that you're going to reach out to and the scope of work that that's going to take, the second thing that you need in your organizational plan is your updates. Now, these are things that come from your campaign page to the people who've either supported or followed your campaign already. So those people don't need to be spoken to as if they don't know anything about your campaign. These are people who are your choir. So you're preaching to them. You're getting them to amplify what you're doing.
So you've organized your direct outreach and your updates. You also need to keep in mind what you're going to do to keep your social media really active and exciting during your campaign. So this is the third element that you're organizing, which is social media. And that's not just who is going to keep up with your social media, but what are you posting to keep it really lively? Because if your social media, which has been actively communicating with and engaging your audience for all this time, devolves into a look at me, look at my campaign, you're going to lose followers rather than gain them. So if you've actually invested the time to really get yourself organized, you will get a chance for the bonus elements that put the fun in crowdfunding.
So what are the things that you can do that get you out from behind your computer and keep this an actually exciting and fun experience? Things to think about that are really fun are events, What kind of things can you throw and plan that bring people together in real life to celebrate what you're doing? If that's a premiere party or a backers only screening or just an event halfway through your film that gets people there together talking about what you're doing and can be excited with you.
A really incredible film that crowdfunded with us called Quality Problems. Their kickoff event was so successful, they extended their crowdfunding goal by another 100%. So they raised literally basically their entire goal at their kickoff event, and that allowed them to go to their stretch goal, I think 2 times over. I mean, it was an absolutely incredible thing. So if you gather people and get them excited, that's a really great place to start.
And think about that momentum that you're building at the very beginning and planning things throughout your campaign that continue to build that momentum.
So the other thing that has been 100% successful on Seed&Spark, I have just learned, 100% of campaigns who have used this tactic have succeeded, is matching contributions. So let's go back to element number 1, that direct outreach. When you are reaching out directly to the people who you know are going to contribute, you find out from them how much they're willing to commit. And if one of them says $500 or $1,000 or $2,000, maybe ask them to hold back on that contribution and run a matching campaign in week 2 or week 3 when there tends to be a lull in a campaign to get people who are contributing the sense that they're doubling their money. That $1,000 is held until the second Friday of the campaign, and every dollar up to $1,000 that's raised during that week gets doubled that week. So matching contributions are a really great way to get people really excited in short time spans. Sometimes weekends can be slow. It's a great way to get people involved on the weekends.
Another great tactic is contests. We had a wonderful campaign fund with us called If There's a Hell Below. And what Nathan Williams did was run the Funder Games. And it was right around the times that the Hunger Games came out. And what he did was had 3 different cities compete to see who could raise the most money, and they would get the premiere of the film. And it was a little bit of a risk because he spent an entire week focusing only on these 3 cities. But it was wildly successful. And if you look at Nathan's trajectory of his campaign, it goes very steadily up.
So an important thing to understand about Nathan Williams' Funder Games contest is this largely was organized offline. They picked people they knew in cities they were really familiar with, and those people became the evangelists inside those cities. So he was using his existing network and giving them something really fun and engaging to do to amplify it into those cities. The final element that can be really fun and engaging is a short-term incentive. So not unlike Sean Mannion's incentive that was for the first week only of his campaign to get your time travel postcard, it allows you to really engage with people around something that might take a little bit more work. Like, of course, Sean Mannion had a lot of photoshopping to do that week, right? And he couldn't maybe do it for all 30 days of his campaign. So it's important to think of the things that might take a little bit more work for you, but that will be really engaging in short bursts. So those are the 4 elements that you're going to start to employ in your organizational plan. And up next, we'll tell you a little bit about how to schedule all of this organization, how to execute on it, and more.